It's a pleasure to be here because it's so important for us to educate the public on the challenges that Julian faces, especially here in the United States. Maybe challenges is the wrong word because the situation here is grim in the U.S. prison system. The U.S. prison system is divided into 4 levels of security: minimum security work camps, low security prisons, medium security prisons, and maximum security penitentiaries. Because of Julian's fame or infamy, depending on your point of view, he would likely be placed in a maximum security penitentiary. Even if he's not, he would then be placed in a medium security prison, but in something called a Special Administrative Management Unit, a SAM unit. SAM units mean that the person has access to the media, which, believe me, to the U.S. Justice Department is a very dangerous thing. So the challenges that Julian would face would be primarily solitary confinement. Solitary confinement and a lack of any access to the outside world. And I mean a lack of access to his own attorneys, a lack of access to his family and friends. He would have no contact with the outside world. Worse than that, though, is solitary confinement. In May of 2016, the New York Times published an expose on solitary confinement in the U.S. prison system. And they found that it's a gross violation of the guidelines issued by the United Nations. The situation is so desperate that some prisoners have taken to doing things like smashing windows and eating glass just so they can be taken to a hospital on the outside and have human contact for the first time in sometimes years. The United Nations says that any stay in solitary confinement more than 15 consecutive days is a form of torture. It's a form of cruel and unusual punishment. Here in the United States, we have prisoners in solitary confinement for as long as 44 years. 44 years with no human contact. Now imagine being in a 2 by 3 meter concrete cell with a steel bed, a steel sink and toilet, and that's it. You're allowed to shower twice a week. If you're lucky, and I think Julian wouldn't be in the United States, you're allowed to make 1 phone call a month, but only to your attorney. And in the event that you have mail, there is a screen mounted to the ceiling in your cell, out of reach so you can't damage it. You receive a letter and they'll put the text of the letter on this screen. You have 5 minutes to read it and then they take it down and it's gone forever. You eat your meals in your cell. There's a small slit in the steel door. The guards will open it, slide in a cardboard tray with some food on it, and then close it. And even those guards won't speak to you. A Bureau of Prisons psychologist once told me that 85% of U.S. federal prisoners have some sort of mental or emotional disability. Usually it's antisocial personality disorder. Couple that with year upon year of solitary confinement, and it is absolutely impossible for even a sane person to maintain his sanity. Now, the thing that we have going for us right now is that the judge, as bad as the text of her decision otherwise was, acknowledged the fact that the U.S. prison system has these issues, that they have, and that there's a serious issue with the use of solitary confinement as a form of punishment. And there's a precedent in both the UK courts and in the European Court of Human Rights to not send prisoners to the United States simply because of solitary confinement. The Federal Bureau of Prisons will never promise anybody that it won't put Julian in solitary confinement. This is what we have to go for us. It's what we have for Julian, and we have to keep up the fight.